hey, happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Today is Thursday, February 21st, and this is episode 250 of The Daily Dope. How about that? 250 episodes. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm not going to have a big party or anything like that, but I have to say, I kind of surprised myself by getting to 250 episodes of what is usually a Monday through Friday kind of show. So, kind of wild, pretty cool. I am actually celebrating tonight. I am going to be reviewing the first part in the Mercy of the Icons campaign for Coriolis. This is Emissary Lost. It is, of course, I've got the hardcover here. I am actually going to give away 2 copies. Yes, that's right. 2 copies of Emissary Lost in PDF to a couple of lucky viewers tonight. So you have to be watching live in order to win. I will mention that again in just a little bit. So if this is the first time you've popped in to catch the Daily Dope, let me point out this is a very casual show. I just chat about tabletop games, usually do an unboxing, have a review, share some news of the day. Nothing really intense. It's just kicking back. So, do want to point out, because this is a live stream, there is chat available on YouTube. If you are watching live and you want to say hello, or if you have a question, or maybe as I'm doing my review of Coriolis Emissary Lost, you have a question, by all means, chime in. I do pay attention to the chat. I will respond. Do want to mention it is not on screen, so it is one of the ways that I actually keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to the chat. So, also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you catch some of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel and you happen to like them, please subscribe. Ring that little bell, because that bell will not only notify you when a new video goes up, but it'll also tell you when the stream goes live, which is normally 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday through Fridays. Today I was a couple of minutes late. I must admit, I was a couple of minutes late getting this started. So I am taking a peek here. We've had some issues a little bit with some drop frames in the stream past couple of nights. Thankfully, yesterday I was doing my review of a war game called The Dark Sands from my friends over at GMT Games. And thankfully, the drop frames were actually before I got into the review. So the review itself was fine. But when I get drop frames in that, which, I don't know, for some strange reason has been happening a little bit of late, it'll be like I'll be in the middle of a sentence and then all of a sudden it's gone and it picks up in the middle of another sentence. So you're watching the video on YouTube after it renders and thinking, what the hell's going on here? What is this guy talking about? So, anywho, thankfully we're showing 0 drop frames right now. So keeping my fingers crossed we stay that way. So, got a little bit of news today. So let's jump on in, because Gamelyn Games has brought the newest, oh gosh, I forgot to take the ad away from Tiny Battle Publishing and Flying Pig Games. See, that's what happens when you're not paying that much attention and you start late. Hey, just so you know, on Wednesday shows, my Wargame Wednesdays are sponsored by Flying Pig Games as well as Tiny Battle Publishing. I think I'll have a sip on that one. There we go. All right, as I was starting to say, Gamelyn Games has brought the newest Scott Alms designed entry in the Tiny Epic line to Kickstarter. And I've got the dope on Tiny Epic Tactics. Tiny Epic Tactics utilizes a simple combat system with variable player powers and 3D terrain to achieve endless layers of strategy and fun. Tiny Epic Tactics offers competitive play, cooperative play, and solo play. Conquer your opponents in tactical combat where every calculated move matters, or journey across the land and through the caves in a grand cooperative solo adventure. Nesting inside the game box are 5 smaller boxes and a map/scroll. Players will set up the game by placing these 5 boxes plus the box bottom onto the scroll in designated areas. This creates the environment that players will explore and battle across. In Tiny Epic Tactics, players will have a team of 4 unique heroes: a fighter, a wizard, a rogue, and a beast. Yeah, I know. You figured it was gonna be a cleric, but it's not. It's a beast. Each hero type and each character within that type offers unique advantages to movement, attacks, and/or support. Finding the synergy in your team is key to victory. Tiny Epic Tactics offers a distinctly different experience for solo and cooperative play. In these modes, players will adventure across the map, fighting spawning enemies and exploring caves printed on the interior of each of the boxes. The goal is to acquire treasures that belong to the enemy from these caves while keeping your heroes alive. Once the end of the game is triggered, victory points are tallied based on how many treasures you took from the enemy and how many of your heroes you kept alive. I do have a quick video from Gamelyn Games. Get a better look at Tiny Epic Tactics.
Greetings, friends. I'm Brad Talton, the founder of Level 99 Games and the creator of Millennium Blades.
All is quiet in the valley. Mist slowly swirls over the mountaintops, and steam rises from the rivers. There is no indication of the carnage that is to come. Teams of skilled tacticians are preparing to take control, all certain of their inevitable victory. The other teams don't stand a chance. This is your time.
Tiny Epic Tactics is a 1 to 4 player strategy game of tactical movement, area control, and combat. It features beautifully illustrated 3D terrain on various boxes that nest right back into the game box when you're done playing. In Tiny Epic Tactics, players control a team of 4 distinct heroes. A fighter, strong and versatile. A wizard, powerful and resourceful. A rogue, swift and cunning. And a beast, relentless and reliable. They must synergize their team, exploit the map's unique terrain, and execute a careful strategy. Protecting your position and gaining control of important vantage points will be critical for victory. In addition to a powerful team of heroes, players will also have tactic cards that offer useful stat boosts, bonus moves, and more, if certain objectives are met first. Tiny Epic Tactics offers players a variety of ways to play: 2 to 4 player competitive, 2 player cooperative, 4 player team play, and a solo play adventure. Players can also pick up an extra set of maps to take their heroes out of the evergreen woodlands and into the bone-chilling winter highlands and the savage wasteland. With a multitude of characters, tactic cards, maps to explore, and play modes, Tiny Epic Tactics offers an endless amount of replayability. There's no better time than now to pledge your support and get a copy of Tiny Epic Tactics. Don't forget to pledge for the extra maps. Every dollar pledged makes the game better for everyone. Don't wait. Join us and become a backer today.
Tiny Epic Tactics is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes. The project is over 3,000% funded. Yes, you heard me correct. 3,000%. And you can reserve a copy of the retail edition for a $20 pledge, or score the deluxe edition for a $25 pledge through March 7th. expected delivery is November of this year. Pretty cool, pretty sweet. Ghost World is popping in. Howdy, Ghost. Good to have you joining me live tonight. I was going to say, yeah, I love how, see, I knew when I waited until the very last minute to get everything set up tonight, I'm like, things are going to be messed up. Things are going to end up messed up. And I thought I had everything set up right. No, that's what happens when I try to squeeze one last news piece in at the last minute. I kick myself when I do that because it always messes things up. Anywho, Tiny Epic Tactics does look pretty cool. It does sort of have a Final Fantasy Tactics sort of vibe to it, wouldn't you say? And honestly, I don't know. I'm sure this is a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything about that. Scott Alms does really great design work. Almost makes me think, looking at these boxes, that maybe Scott Alms played Ice Cool, you know, the little penguin game where you got the different rooms that you flick the penguins around. It's a dexterity game. But the way it's set up is all these like boxes slip into each other into the main box. I wonder if it had something to do with how Scott Alms came up with this. But this does look really cool. And of course, it's a Tiny Epic game. People are jumping on board this like it's going out of style. Ghost says, not a fan of the pieces, but I like the dungeons and sets. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, you know what? I was looking at those pieces too. They're a little blandish in my book. I don't know. Just me. I mean, some people dig their meeples. Doesn't matter what kind of cut they are, what kind of design they are. They just want those meeples. Me, sometimes, I mean, in something like this, I would probably want like standees with artwork. That's just me. But that, that defeats the whole Tiny Epic thing. All right, moving right along. There is a unique looking Euro-style game that's on the horizon from my friends over at AEG. And I've got just a tiny bit of dope, not very much, about Atelier. I think it's Atelier, the painter's studio. The workshop is busy. Take on the role of an artist managing an atelier or art studio during the 19th century. Roll dice, manage your assistants, collect needed paint, and complete famous works of art. Which I wish there were better images, because there's only a couple of images really floating around for this game right now. In fact, there's really kind of an oddball like shot of the 3D box. Really weird angle that AEG used on that one. But it's kind of cool. I saw some of the cards, but they were pictures that somebody had taken, so I can't use them. For their own personal uploads to Board Game Geek. Looks pretty sweet. Anyway, so you're working on these famous pieces of art. Will you be a prolific artist, completing many works for your patrons? No, that won't be me. Or will you be known for just a few masterpieces that stand the test of time? That wouldn't be me either. Atelier is a fast-paced game featuring dice rolling, set collecting, and European-style gameplay. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it hits the scene on July 19th. So something cool to look forward to this summer. And I always have had kind of a soft spot for board games that try to get involved, by sharing like classic works of art. What was the one that came out? It was I want to say it was like an Eagle Griffin game, like Panache or something like that. I forget what it was called. That looked interesting. Never played it, but I do remember back in the day when the previous owner for Eagle Griffin was around. He had shared a bunch of info about it. Not the game itself, but a bunch of info about it. So, anywho. All right. So, another cool game that's on the horizon is from White Wizard Games, because they're preparing to launch a new card game system this June. And I've got the dope on Sorcerer. Here, there is a border between two worlds, the worlds of reality and the unknown, a border that is slowly disintegrating as faith in higher powers is pushed into the shadows by man's acceptance of technology. Across the border of the mortal realm lies Limbo, where dark gods, mythical monsters, and fantastic creatures have been imprisoned for centuries. But the sorcerers, the offspring of the dark gods and mortals, escape the Great Purge. They wait for their opportunity to regain their former strength. Sorcerer is a dark fantasy game from the creators of Star Realms. This new character-building game combines the best elements of a strategy card game and a tactical board game to create a whole new play experience. The game is set in a grim, gas lamp-lit world full of fantastic mythical creatures and sorcery. Thus the name, Sorcerer, right? Designed for 2 to 4 players, the game pits two ancient beings of great power against one another to determine which of their lineage are strongest. The players use sorcery to conjure minions, cast minions, and wield enchanted items to reach the game's goal of conquering 3 battlefields. Sorcerer is for 2 to 4 players. It's weird because it says it's 2 to 4 players and then it's going to pit 2 players against each other, so it's kind of like 2 on 2? Well, no, it's not really 2 on 2 though. Yeah, this does look interesting. I'm going to have to check this out, and thankfully I will probably get a chance to get a review copy of this. Anyway, Sorcerer is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 30 to 90 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it arrives this June. That jackal creature looked really awesome. Yeah, I like the artwork in this. This artwork is pretty cool. There's some other cool artwork in the last minute news story that I snuck in under the gun, which kind of threw everything else off a little bit. There is a new role-playing game that has brought some former BioWare employees, writers, I guess we'll say, together to create a new role-playing game. There is a free player's handbook. This is going to be released from Modiphius Entertainment, and I've got a little bit of dope on Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is an epic fantasy campaign for the 5th edition of the world's greatest role-playing game. I can say Dungeons & Dragons, they can't. The Player's Guide is a 28-page companion booklet that will provide you with everything you need to begin your career as a prospective hero in the forgotten land of Thylia? Thylia? Or Thyli? Thylia? I don't know. Inspired by ancient Greek mythology, Thyli, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to say Thyli, is a brand new campaign setting, a lost continent that can be seamlessly added to any existing campaign setting. The world of Thylia includes an overview of the history, factions, kingdoms, and laws of the Forgotten Continent. Learn about the gods, the titans, and the legendary dragon lords. There are class backstories, which include guidance on the character creation process, including potential names and suggested backstories for each of the core player classes. There are new player races, which include rules for 2 new player races native to the forests and the northern steppes, the Thylian Centaur and the Thylian Satyr. Is that how it's pronounced? Satyr? Satire? Choose your epic path. It includes 6 epic paths for players to choose from. These epic paths provide powerful motivations for your hero, making you a central part of the story. Note, the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords campaign book has not yet been released. The expected launch date is sometime in May 2019 on Kickstarter. I do believe this is going to go to Kickstarter. Satyr. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Ghost. Yes. Yep. Hey, Flammy coming in. Hey, how's it going? Seems I made it earlier this time. Yeah, you just missed a little bit of the news. Uh, as I mentioned, this 28-page player's guide is available as a PDF. You gotta admit, this artwork looks great. I mean, this artwork looks smashing. It's free. The player's guide is free. You could get it from the Modiphius site. You can also go to DriveThruRPG and download the PDF there as well. So I have to say, I find it kind of interesting. Now, off the top of my head, I'm not positive about this, but off the top of my head, I don't think Modiphius Entertainment has ever released something that was open game license for 5e. I don't believe so. But they had a big press release this morning. It was a lot of kind of talking heads sort of stuff, which is not usually what I tend to share on the show. I like kind of sharing like the news about the game itself, or like this is an RPG product. But it seems like they're going all out with this, and there's some pretty big names from BioWare that worked on some pretty big games, like Mass Effect 1 and 2. We won't mention 3. Knights of the Republic, of the Old Republic, a lot of classic stuff. This could be pretty sweet. All right, so speaking of DriveThruRPG, I do want to mention there are 2 sales going on right now over at DriveThru. Last week, for about 10 days, we had the Old School Renaissance, Old School Revival, Old School R, whatever you want to call it. Somebody had told me the R stands for something else the other day, and I forget what they said it was, and I was like, oh, come on, no. It's Renaissance or Revival. It's your choice kind of on that. It's not the like retro clone. It's like, no, it's not Old School Retro Clone or Old School Retro. That's how OSR stands for. Anyway, so that sale ended. But there is I want to say it's called the More Awesome OS sale that's going on at DriveThruRPG right now. Advanced Labyrinth Lord and old D&D. Yes, old Dungeons and Dragons are all on sale. There's a second sale that's going on. It's all for Shadowrun, and you can save. They just changed it. It was up to 50% on everything Shadowrun related from Catalyst Game Labs, and then they just bumped it up to 60%. So those 2 sales are going on right now. Do want to mention, if you do happen to pop over to one of the drive-thru sites or any of the One Bookshelf sites, please stop by the Gaming Gang first. Click on one of our banners, and that way, if you make a purchase at any of those sites, you'll get a little piece of the action. Not a lot, just a little bit. Usually like 25 cents, something like that. But I have to say a big thank you to people out there, because you do that for me. You do it quite a bit, and that actually pays for the hosting every month for the Gaming Gang. And I said it once, said it 1,000 times. We don't have no cheapo GoDaddy hosting. Can't bring in 90,000 unique visitors every month, multiple times on GoDaddy hosting. We would break that shared server crap. All right, so anywho, moving right along. So that is the news for the day. Just taking a look. Yeah, see, we're dropping frames again. I'm going to change something here. It seems like we'll hit a patch. Yeah, I know this is super compelling video to watch. Be like, all right, taking a peek, changing stuff up. Yeah, but it just shows that, see, it comes and goes. I am recording this, so worst case scenario, because it's showing like 2.3% drop frames. So, I don't know what it is. I have absolutely no idea what it is, because it's got to be something going on with my internet service provider. It's got to be. And the thing is, I don't want to have to keep like dropping the quality of the stream down. I'm gonna have to call Comcast, Xfinity, whatever, because we're supposed to be getting way higher downloads than we are right now. So I'm going to take a guess. I checked the uploads, and the uploads were showing it was like 10 millibits per second, which 10 millibits per second, you should be able to like upload way higher video settings than I'm doing right now. So hopefully it's pretty clear. Yeah, I like that. Oh, you have Comcast? No wonder. Hey, when I lived in Arizona, I had Cox, C-O-X. And I will leave it at that, I guess I will say. I will not, but we used to say there was a reason why it was called that, why that was the name. All right, so what is coming up on shows, tomorrow's show as well as into next week? I will tell you right in a second, but first, as with all the shows, got to have a little message from Lil Whizbub here. And I'm not going to play one of the videos today, just for time's sake. Come on, there we go. But the Gaming Gang, thus the Daily Dope, is operated as a nonprofit. You know, not in it to make any money. I'm probably the only guy out there doing this kind of stuff who's like this. So, if you do like the Gaming Gang, if you do like the Daily Dope, please consider making a donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund at the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Lil Bub's Big Fund actually supports animals in need, special needs animals. So animals that may be older, or maybe they're blind, maybe they're deaf, maybe they have mobility issues, maybe they have some sort of animal disease, I guess we'll say, but I mean, not something that, could be passed to human beings and stuff. Where's my bub at? There you go. Right, there you go. Here's your Lil Bub. Here's today's dose of Lil Bub for you. So anyway, if you happen to like the show, if you dig what I do, both on the website and during the live shows and convention coverage, things like that, please consider making a small donation. 100% of all funds that are raised for Lil Bub's Big Fund is awarded as grants to organizations that do take care of special needs animals. So, cool beans, cool deal. Hey, Cookie Kid is showing up late to the party. No, you're not really late. You're up right after the news. So, you're okay. A lot of people don't like the tabletop gaming news that I do on the show. It's just like, it's like, I gotta sit through a half hour of an ad. It's like, no, it's not. It's not an ad. It's not like I'm selling it from, the Gaming Gang store. It's just, sharing, hey, what's new in the gaming world out there. So, on tomorrow's show, I am going to take a first look and page through The Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring, from the One Ring, for the One Ring, from Cubicle 7 Entertainment, my pals, over across the pond. So I'm going to take a look at this on tomorrow's show. Got stuff stacked up all over. So on Monday's show, I am going to review Millennium Blades. And the reason why I'm going to get the review of this out there is because there's a Kickstarter right now for its final expansion. So I believe on Monday it'll still have about 6-7 days left on it. So I want to make sure to let you know what I think of this game, and if it's really good, because I have heard good things about it. If it's really good, you may want to jump onto that Kickstarter, because you can actually get the core game with the expansion at a really good price, because the core game actually carries like an $80 MSRP, and in the Kickstarter you can get it for like $65, I think. Then on Tuesday, I am going to be reviewing Helios Expanse from Greenbrier Games. Yes, I unboxed this a long time ago. This actually isn't even the game, as far as this isn't a retail copy of the game, I should say. And so, interestingly enough, it's finally coming out. But I unboxed that long time ago. And then on Wednesday's show, I am going to crack open and take a first look at SPQR from my pals over at GMT Games. This is the new deluxe edition that is come out. I dig ancient history. I really think ancient history is very cool. I have always heard really good things about SPQR, and I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure it is actually it actually tackles the Second Punic War, Second Punic Wars, I should say. And then on Thursday's show, week from today, I will be taking a look. As I think at this point, I might push this back a little bit if this package of Ard's Halisorian stuff comes in, or I might double dip one of the shows. But I will be taking a look at Adventures in Middle-earth Breland Region Guide probably next Thursday. If not, maybe I'll do if all the core books come in, because I got a bunch of stuff that's heading my way. Then I might push it back to Friday. So, all right. Anywho, that is what's coming up on shows. Tomorrow's show and then into next week. All right, so, I'm a little kind of combobulated here. Well, let's see. Drop frames. Looks like we dropped a few frames again. I may end up having to upload this recording. So, thankfully the recording's good. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to touch base with Comcast tomorrow, see what is going on with this. Anyway, Pinky, the two cats are both down here tonight, which was funny because yesterday was it was Love Your Pet Day or whatever, and they were both upstairs, wouldn't even come down here. And now tonight they're both down here sacked out, except Pinky just got up and she keeps kind of walking around. We haven't heard her yet. She's walking around. I keep catching her out of the corner of my eye. She's kind of distracting me. So, yeah. You're a good kid. All right, so tonight I am going to be reviewing Coriolis Emissary Lost. This is the first part of the Mercy of the Icons campaign. After my review, I am also going to be giving out 2 copies of Emissary Lost in PDF. So, Kid Kabuki says it was pretty choppy for a bit. Definitely dropped a bunch of frames. Here's something else that I do notice too, though, is what you see in the stream on YouTube when it renders, it'll be fine. I don't know what that is, because I know I think it was last night we hit a little patch like that, and Ghost was hanging out, and Ghost had mentioned, it's kind of choppy, or kind of like loading and stuff like that. And at that point in the actual episode, after it rendered, it's fine. So I don't know. I'm keeping an eye out. Drop frames are 1,287. So I'm taking a guess that's probably about a minute or so that's been dropped so far out of the 35 minutes. Not something I got control over. Anyway, so as I was saying, after the review, I am going to be giving away 2 copies of Coriolis Emissary Lost in PDF. And you got to be watching live. All right, so this is designed by, and I'm going to get all these names wrong, so just kick back, get ready for it. Ricard and Troya, Matthias Johansson, Nils Carl, what the heck? These are all kind of messed up, the way the names are laid out here. Okay, so I believe it is Ricard and Troya, Matthias Johnson, Nils Carlin, Costa Costalis, Matthias Lilja, and Adam Palmqvist. Artwork is provided by Ricard and Troya, Gustav Eklund, Magnus Falgren, Christian Granith, Martin Grip, and Tobias Tranell. The 232-page hardcover is available from Free League for $40.05. Yep, $40.05. Free League always has kind of an odd, U.S. Price, but you can order it from Free League, you don't necessarily have to order it from the Modiphius website, because their website is always usually a little bit higher. Yes, Ghost, $40.05, or you can get the 232-page PDF from DriveThruRPG for $19.99. So I'm going to pop over to the other camera. First, I'm going to grab a sip here. All right, so got Coriolis here. Once again, as with anything I have seen from Free League, just the quality of the book, everything is top notch. So I'm going to angle this over a little bit so we can kind of cut down on glare. Yeah, we should be good there. So once again, really nice paper quality. We've got our little bookmarks here. So always see those. Just really, really nicely done. The artwork is pretty cool. I like the artwork to this as well. This is a big book. I mean, if you think about it, Fleming here and says, Coriolis is pretty good. Got a copy of the core book the other week when it was on special. Sweet. Yes, I reviewed it not too long ago. I liked it too. Yes, their PDF should have been $20.05 to keep up the theme. Anyway, so this is like the first part of a big epic campaign. Gotta admit, well, I'm just going to kind of flip through and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. There are things that I definitely really like about this. There are some things that I'm not too keen about. And I will kind of discuss those as well. So I also want to point out, since this is an adventure, if you are a player and you're hoping to get your game master to pick this up so they will run this, I am going to stay pretty spoiler free, but you are probably going to see things along the way, or I may say something along the way that could ruin your enjoyment of Emissary Lost. So what we've got is we've got two adventures effectively, and they're broken up into different acts. This is presented as we see with a lot of modern role-playing games. So I am an old school gamer. So I started playing games in about 1976-ish, 76, 77-ish. So I was a small kid. I was in grammar school at the time, and I tend to kind of go a little old school in the way I like to run games. Of course, depending on the game I'm running, has a lot to do with it. Like Call of Cthulhu, you sort of have to railroad your players. It's a horror game. If you just let people do whatever they want to do, the effectiveness of that adventure, of that spooky tale, is going to be, really diminished if it's just, everybody can play grab ass and do whatever they want. Then again, usually, like if I'm running a fantasy role-playing game, I don't like set pieces so much. I don't mind having them, but sometimes the railroad is just a little too narrow, in my opinion. Now, with Emissary Lost, it's got a cool story. It's about a conspiracy that has kind of been taken over by other conspiracies, and the players are pulled into this story. So we've got the Wake of the Martyr. This is the first adventure here. So it's a massive threat. It's a big threat to the Third Horizon, which, if anyone's familiar with Coriolis, the Third Horizon is actually an updated game of Coriolis. There was originally a Coriolis role-playing game that was the first Horizon. So, and the first Horizon is actually something in this. So it's not as if, oh yeah, well, it's, it's like Coriolis Third Horizon. It's, like third edition. No, it's not. It's the Third Horizon. So anyway, so there's been disappearances, and yes, it's one of the most overused tropes in all of role-playing games. Somebody's missing, and you need to go find them or find out why. So, in this case, it's these mystics. These mystics are disappearing, and people are like, what's going on? And people are getting a little scared. So, the Wake of the Martyr is effectively the players learning about someone important to them has disappeared. So there you go. There's that age-old hook. Oh, somebody you know and love. Hey, we're playing Dungeons & Dragons tonight, gang. Here's your hook. But I know we're talking about Coriolis. But I think people know what I'm talking about. All right, so anyway, cool artwork, like the maps. Everything is pretty nicely laid out here. One of the aspects of Emissary Lost that I do like is the NPCs. The NPCs are pretty well fleshed out. They're not just simply one-note mustache twirlers or, just, oh, I am just the innocent lamb. There are a lot of shades of gray. So that's one thing I do like about this. Something I'm not too keen on this is that you kind of have to gimp the players. I'm not sure if you understand, if you know what that means. That's kind of a phrase that's been around for a long time. Gimping the players is when you create an adventure, and usually you'll see this for like high-level fantasy role-playing games, where you have, let's say you've got, your level 10 characters, and they've got like different, really awesome spells, and they've gotten some excellent equipment and things like that. And the adventure, it's, a published adventure usually, or game masters can do this too. What they'll do is they'll set up like roadblocks to them. So for an example, like you might have, the big bad wears this amulet so that you can't detect evil on them, or the players are in some dungeon or tower or wizard's tower, what have you, that all of their hard-earned magic items and magic spells won't work. There you go, right. Kabuki Kid. Magic won't work on this island. Womp womp. Your magic is no good here. Yes. That's gimping the players, which sucks. That's one of the reasons why... Okay, so I'm going off topic again, right? Going up on a little rant, which does not have anything to do with Coriolis. But that is one of the reasons why, since the beginning of time, it has been very difficult to create good, high-level Dungeons & Dragons adventures. Because the players have too much cool... The players become, eventually, they're like demigods, practically. And we're not talking at level 20. We're talking about, level 12, 14. They're pretty powerful. So the thing is, in the 2 adventures which have multiple acts, twice, the game master is supposed to effectively take the player's spaceship away from them, to deny them the use of their spaceship. And it's kind of stupid, to be honest. There's one point where and it's basically just so that the players are stuck on foot, that they have to use local means to move around these locations, as opposed to just hopping on their spaceship and taking off. Now, if you bust this out with players who have already been playing Coriolis for a while, because there are some other adventures already out there, and people do make up their own adventures, they've already created their spaceship. They're probably going to be a little ticked off when these rebels shoot it down. It's like, what? And then you're supposed to help these rebels. So yeah, so I wasn't too keen on that. I don't think I've ever had to actually actively gimp. In Warhammer, the characters stay pretty much within reason. Yeah, that's true, Ghost. Yeah, yeah. The Warhammer characters don't become like world killers or anything like that. As you know, after long campaigns. Anywho, all right. So moving along. So although the investigation's pretty cool, I do like the investigation behind what's going on. The players start to learn about this conspiracy. There's human trafficking going. Well, yeah, there's trafficking going on, slavery going on, slave trafficking, I guess we'd say. That they find out about. But then it turns out that this big conspiracy that they start to kind of pull back the layers on, turns out these other groups are actually kind of have infiltrated these conspiracies, and they're using these slavers for their own purposes. So I like that aspect of it too. All right, so just kind of flipping on through here. So it starts, the adventure really starts off on the Coriolis station. The players are investigating different stuff. It's later on when they're... Here's the other thing with these rebels, that it gets to the point where the rebels shoot down the player's spaceship, and then the players are supposed to help these rebels overthrow the syndicate who rules over their town. But the whole point is, the players really actually don't need to do that. They don't actually need to help these rebels. It's very possible. There's some acts in this that the players could just skip right over. And I don't know. When you're looking at an adventure that is a lot of set pieces, a lot of different acts, then when you have the ability for the players to actually just kind of just jump past it, then number one, you're not getting your money's worth out of the book. And number two, a lot of things are probably going to be missed by the players. You know, it's a rough world when the slave owners are the victims. Yes, that's true, Ghost. I didn't say they're the victims. I'm just saying they're being manipulated by other forces they don't realize they are. So, but like I said, the artwork's really cool. The adventure itself is interesting. Then the players end up following the leads that take them down to the planet of Kua, Kua. I don't know how you pronounce it. So they're traipsing through the jungle. I like that aspect of it. This part of the adventure is kind of cool, but then again, there's also another in this adventure. There's another aspect of the adventure where it's like, well, you're supposed to take the player's spaceship away from them again, so they can't use their spaceship. And it's not as if anything's really presented as, hey, here's kind of a set piece to utilize for that, as far as, oh, how do they lose the ability to access their spaceship? No, it's just basically, hey, so just so you know, your players shouldn't be able to use their spaceship for this. And to me, like I said, once again, that to me, it's kind of like you're gimping the players. You're taking away something that's probably fairly important to them, and saying, well, you know, you're gonna just do that. It's kind of like the old joke. Old school players would be like, you know, old school dungeon masters would be like, well, do you want to play Dungeons and Dragons tonight? Because this is how it's gonna be. You don't like it? Too bad. So Ghost says, gimping comes into play more in sci-fi RPGs. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I think that happens more in fantasy RPGs than science fiction. I don't remember, like, not that I played tons of Traveller. I don't remember that kind of stuff in Traveller. But it might be just simply, even if you look at a lot of games, even like science fiction games and stuff, from the beginning of a character's, well, let's say from the character's creation to the point where the player no longer plays that character. Most science fiction games don't see that huge power creep, that huge just go from being like, a nobody farm boy to, oh well, I'm the emperor of the universe with all these powers. Don't normally see that so much in like science fiction role-playing games. You see a lot of that in D&D mainly. I'm mainly talking like D&D, because even like RuneQuest and that, yeah, the characters, their skills improve. They get magic. They get better magic. They get better like magical items and stuff like that. But they're still rather fragile. Yep, like Kabuki Kid saying, yeah, Traveler doesn't really have power creep. Traveler's got other problems. Power creep really isn't one of them. So anyway, all right, so we're flipping through here. So they end up on the planet. Now, keeping in mind, this is going to have a cliffhanger, because this is not the full campaign for Mercy of the Icons. This is just the first part. So, one of the other aspects of the adventure that a game master has to be pretty careful about is, because there's these different conspiracies. It's not just one conspiracy. It's all these different angles. All these things are going on behind the scenes. A game master has to make sure that they completely have their finger on the pulse of that, because if they present it incorrectly, the players are all going to just be sitting there slack-jawed like, huh? I don't understand this. And nothing's worse than a game master sitting there going, oh, wait a second. I forgot I was supposed to tell you. It's like, there. Okay, so another thing that's pretty cool, and we're going to get to that in just a minute here, is the appendixes, is how I always said it, that are part of the book, because there are, like, here we got the mission generator. So I thought this is kind of cool. Now there's I think there's a mission generator in one of the other adventures, but this mission generator is kind of focused around emissaries. So you got the mission generator. We've got some new powers that have come into play too. So we've got new powers. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then we've got a bunch of like page long, or some of them are like a little less than a page, kind of adventure nuggets, kind of adventure seeds, but within this campaign. So I like that as well. I had no problem with this not ending with, okay, this is the end of the story here. We've got a completion. You've unraveled the conspiracy. You've taken care of the villains. You've helped, the downtrodden. No, it's okay. I mean, because I'm used to seeing adventures that, are not going to be completed in one release. I think this is a good adventure. I just don't think it's a great one. I don't think it's outstanding. I guess I can't get over the whole fact of, where it's like, you're not going to be able to use a spaceship here. I probably wouldn't have had as much of a problem with it if it had been like better laid out, as opposed to just saying, well, you need to do this. Not like, hey, here's like a little side adventure, a little setting, a little encounter or something to provide reasoning why the players aren't going to have a spaceship. Plus, it's kind of stupid for these rebels to shoot down. This is pretty much what the adventure tells you to do. That the rebels shoot down your player's spaceship and then turn around and are like, hey, can you help us? So I don't know. I'd be pissed. Anyway, but as you can see, the artwork's really nice. There's like a little bonus adventure in this. So we get some extras in here, so kind of cool. I thought that was nice. The gas giant. So I like that we got a little bonus adventure that's not necessarily tied directly into the campaign as well. So all in all, like I said, some aspects I like, some aspects I'm not so thrilled with. To me, this is a little more railroady than I like to see. Yeah, the blueprints are cool. You are correct, Ghost. It's a little more railroady than I like to normally see. But then again, I can kind of understand it. I mean, it's almost along the lines of, like a Call of Cthulhu adventure. I mean, if you're playing a game and the adventure is pretty much wrapped around a conspiracy of some sort, you can't just be like, yeah, let's fly by the seat of our pants and kind of unravel this as we go. No, it's probably not going to work out that well for it. I also like the fact that it's not a given that the players are going to be, good guys. They could be murder hobos if they want to be. There are some aspects to the adventure that, if they're kind of shady characters or sort of evil characters, they can find that they can kind of advance the story along with less effort than if they're trying to play like the good guys. So I like that. I like that the assumption wasn't just made that, oh yeah, everybody's good. These are all good guys, which is something we also see it a lot in adventures too, where it's kind of like, oh, well, for the stupidest reason, I want to send you off to do whatever because I figure out of the kindness of your heart, you'll do that. And, some players don't like to play, just goody two-shoe characters. They're not necessarily playing, homicidal maniacs, but, they like to play kind of like areas of gray, right? So I like that as well. Artwork's good. Like I said, a little too railroady. I don't like the gimping the players aspect of it. Like I said, I think all the different threads of the conspiracy, I guess maybe I'll say like the puppet masters pulling the strings in the conspiracy can be a little overwhelming. I don't want to say confusing, but a little overwhelming, and could easily be mispresented to the players, thus kind of like leeching some of the suspense to it, or some of at the end when it's sort of like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that aspect too. All in all, like I said, I think it's good. And I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now, something I do want to point out is that some folks, in fact, I just had somebody on Twitter today, like yesterday, I gave The Dark Sands an 8.4 out of 10. Which means it's a damn good game. No, it's not phenomenal. It's not world-breaking or anything like that. And somebody was and they said they were kidding, but the way they wrote it was like, well, everybody knows if game isn't 8.5 or higher, it's crap. Well, of course, sarcasm and some humor, like my humor, is sometimes lost online. But I was kind of like, well, wait a second. I mean, 8.4 means this is a good game. Just like 7.5 means this is a good adventure. It's not Masks of Nyarlathotep, which I guess some people hate that, but hate Masks of Nyarlathotep. But to me, that's like the all-time Call of Cthulhu campaign. It's not Horde of the Dragon Queen going in the other direction, which I thought was crap. But yeah, it's pretty good. I did like it. So, all right. So we've got Ghost. We got Kabuki Kid. Who else is in chat right now? Chime in. Chime in if you're in chat. I'll give you a minute or so. If you're watching live. Do, 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 do. Yeah, doing a little bit. Okay, so we got Flaming Heron. Ghost, I'm sure, is still hanging out. Kabuki Kid, I'm taking a guess you're hanging out. Yeah. Ghost is right. Everybody wants their extremes. Here's the other thing as I wait. So Ghost, Flaming Huron, Kabuki Kid, you still here? You know, I get people who send me emails complaining about my reviews that, yeah, you're just kind of babbling on and, you know, just kind of drawn for your own personal stuff. It's like, isn't that how you're supposed to review things? It's like how I personally enjoyed this or what this, you know, made me think of or whatever. So I get people who tell me, oh, yeah, dude, you know, your review's too long. You're just talking and stuff like that. It's like, yeah. But there's also, if you go to the website and you look at the post, the score is right there. I also have now in the show notes put, hey, this is when I give my final thoughts and the review score. You can jump to that. So I find it funny. It's like people don't want longer reviews that go into detail. And then they, on the other hand, they complain. It's like, well, you just give it a score. That doesn't tell me anything. It's like, no, it wouldn't tell you anything. You're supposed to watch the video, dummy. All right, so we got Ghost, Flaming Huron, and Kabuki Kid. All right, so let's switch back. All right, so I've got dice here. So let's do Flaming Huron was, I want to say, I think was the first one in the door. So 1 to 2. Ghost is 3 to 4. Kabuki Kid is 4 to 5. And of course, these dice are kind of odd looking. Here, let me get ones that are much easier for people to see. That aren't the, I think, I'm trying to remember what those dice are from. I think they might be from Darkest Night. There we go. I think, yeah, you can see the pips much easier this way. All right, so the winner of the first copy of the PDF for Coriolis Emissary Lost is, that would be Flaming Huron. It's going to get a copy. What I need you to do is, okay, when I go back to the other screen, my email address is there. Shoot me an email so I can set you up with getting you a copy of that. And my email's jeffmcaleer@thegaminggang.com. But just so I'll pop back to the main screen and you'll see it pop up. All right, so got one more copy to give away. So we'll do 1 to 3 is Ghost World, and 4 to 6 is going to be Kabuki Kid. Here we go. Oh, it is? That rolled off screen. All right, it's got to be on screen, Jeff. Come on. All right, Kabuki Kid gets the copy. All right, so let me go back. Okay, so as you can see, my email address is right there in the lower corner. Yeah, actually, the one that rolled off screen was a 6. Sorry, Ghost, but you tune in all the time, so I'm gonna have more giveaways. I'm working on getting more giveaways out, and I'm trying to make it where it's like you gotta watch live to win, especially like with the PDFs. So anyway, all right. So Kabuki Kid, Flaming Huron, shoot me an email. I will make sure you shoot me an email like ASAP, so some bozo doesn't watch this and they're like, I'm gonna pretend to be these guys who won. So, all right. No worries, mate. I'm interested in Coriolis, actually. Anywho, that is it for today's show. So, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube, be sure to go to thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Tomorrow, as I go, oh, it's over here, isn't it? Yeah, here it is. And I know Ghost World is interested in this one. Tomorrow I will be taking a first look at The Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. So be sure to join me then. Anywho, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Flaming Huron, Kabuki Kid, and Ghost World, as always, thank you very much for joining me in chat. And everybody else, thank you very much for watching. thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by the Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.